after 15 to 30 seconds or so, because I need to make sure that everything is online, and this will usually my streams exist as a VOD, so I don't really mind cutting myself off too early, but I don't want to cut myself into the stream too deep. And by that I mean, so if you notice back in some of my VODs for my streams, yeah, sometimes they start like during the very beginning of a run. I don't think it's ever been so bad that I start a few investigations into a World of Horror run, for World of Horror specifically, but I have seen myself start after the quick play select, which doesn't sit well with me, so that's why I usually try to make sure I can fit me hitting quick play in the stream, when it begins at least. Anyway, we're at a score of 0, so we might as well just get into it, as we get into immediately Zektas Knight Errant character exclusive random item Kana. Which is not a normal run at all. Knight Errant on top of Zektas is already bad enough. But yeah, Kana takes some work around on Harbinger anyway. If you're not on Harbinger, Kana is amazing. For Doom purposes. Second encounter knowledge, Charisma, Takshisan, second mystery, and maybe a light check. A lot of that does have to do with the Doom decrease per mystery, even on True Believer, where it's only 1. That essentially allows you to die once for free. But anywho, on top of, you know, if we're talking about pluses for Kana on a non-Harbinger difficulty run, you get to, yeah, as I said, the reason why you get to die once is because after every mystery, if you're on True Believer, assuming you're on True Believer, Doom decreases by 1, I think, still. It's been a while, so I don't remember exactly, but I think that's the case. And then on top of that, on True Believer, you're not immediately taking an extra point of damage. That's the other part. And with the Expel Evil, essentially, we do get to die once for free. We'll take experience here for the purposes of Zektasting, but wow, I use that as a verb, really. But yeah, for the purposes of Zektasting, we will Expel Evil is really, really good. The 21% Doom, because things are stable and it's not looking at how much Doom has increased overall, which Panstaz or any other game dev could do, but if for World of Horror it's only looking at the 21% Doom, 42% Doom, 63% Doom, and 84% Doom. You can confirm this with either Doom decreases just to kind of play around, but really you'll see it during zero statting. I need to talk about this now because I might as well refresh myself up on Kana. When you zero stat and your Doom shoots up to 100%, you'll notice all your stats drop at the same time. So, therefore, the game must check. Well, that means the game must also check for, hey, this is the first decrease or not. Maybe it doesn't. Like, maybe it just checks, hey, is the current Doom greater than 21, 42, 63, and 84? And then it just checks all those off, and there's why you think. Again, weird bug things can happen, but hey. Anywho. Robin, Festival, Vigil, Painting, and Metamorphosis. For the purposes of saving time, I will, by time I mean Doom, we'll take Vigil now. And it's also been a while since I actually watched anyone else or listened to anyone else play World of Horror, which, you know, I really do like doing, but I'm also playing Frostpunk 2 and stuff as well. I should take care of these dogs. I was also taking care of the dogs before the stream. I'll help you, dogs. Dogs, why are you so... Dogs. And you. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Now. You have gotten an exclusive peek, or sound, of me dealing with dogs, because dogs. And yes, you may have heard the window as well, that we have those. I'm gonna take a drink. What was I talking about? Something. Anywho, we're waiting for the meat cleaver mainly, but anything else would help as well. For all intents and purposes, I should really pop this inspiring novel. I can fight the old man, so all things considered, yeah, let's do that. But let's also do the Vigil successfully, because without it, we can't get ending A. But maybe this meat cleaver won't be as bad. I think we're on random item stats too, so I guess we're really about to find out, aren't we? Anywho, let's grab this meat cleaver. I actually wanted to take reason damage and heal stamina, but you know what? This is also a very slow meat cleaver, but we'll deal with it. I could just take the Knight Errant penalty as well. At this point, it might actually benefit me more. But I guess we'll see. I also popped the Inspiring Novel, and I was about to say, I didn't run into a single encounter. That would have made me very sad. That being said, it's not like we're doing terribly well here either. I mean, I can still do guaranteed kicks for the moment. I guess I do this. For all intents and purposes, or for the sake of not dying to stamina. I should trade off 2 reason here for stamina, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going to do that, and I'm not making, you know, light of anyone who also can't pronounce things properly like I can, but it's this is in part a little bit of how I try to improve my own speaking on top of just practicing tongue twisters off recording and stream. But I think you get the point. Still have a lot to do. It's taken me a few years to even speak somewhat coherently and be somewhat engaging. Anywho, yeah, I really don't like fighting the Pillar Vampire, so we're just running here. And let us actually... Do I actually want to fight this guy? I'm going to fight this guy and find out. If nothing else, I get experience from him, but I'm pretty sure I might end up taking more Doom damage than Knight Errant, even with the damage increase here. But you know what? It's not so bad. 6% Doom, and I think we might actually be able to get out in the same amount of Doom penalty. But let's find out. This is 13, right? Nope, I lied. What, 8% Doom, but I get experience, so hey. A little bit of experience, but basically 2 Doom for 14 experience compared to 6 Doom and nothing from Knight Errant. Even though, yes, I did take 8 Doom damage, but I'm kind of splitting the difference here, if you can follow me for the moment. I know I don't explain myself properly most of the time, but I do try my best. By the way, Festival immediately into Metamorphosis, I guess we're doing that. I do need to put something into Perception, but I'm thinking I actually should have looked for allies, but I guess we're gonna find out, aren't we? That would be really helpful, wouldn't it? And we're Kana, so HP losses aren't the worst thing. Even if we get Iwa for 5% Doom, which is what you get for dying as Kana, for those who don't know. Yeah, also stats don't matter. What I really want the strength for is for encounters, so let me just clarify that here. Because, yeah. But we'll save the soft drink until we are... We'll save the soft drink, because I want to stay at 3 reasons so I can Desperate Struggle. That's something that I still see people do from the few times I've watched over the month. I know I can't expect people to watch another 12 World, by the way. You can't expect everyone to know everything about a game, but objectively it is kind of a mistake, because there are moments where you can two-shot, well, mostly two-shot. Most people, and I say most people, but most people, if we're going to kind of split the people who, you know, including me, don't miss the efficiency, for whatever reason. Most people do end up defeating enemies in like 2 turns, but it's when you get to 3 turns that it really makes the difference that having Desperate Struggle will allow you. Having Desperate Struggle normally allows you to 2-shot enemies, and by 2-shot I mean defeat them in 2 turns, which saves you a turn of taking damage, because most enemies don't have more than like 20 to 24 HP, and Desperate Struggle tends to have the potential to deal enough damage to put them under 10 HP, basically, which puts you in a situation where you can either gamble to do a 2-turn, or you just get the 2-turn outright. Also, no Perception. If I had Perception, I would. So, instead, we're going to do Knowledge, and I will see what happens. Also, I see so the dogs were barking earlier. I might have to take care of that quickly in a moment here, but let me just... I'll go as far as I can, but yeah, I have to take care of it. That would mean I have to set up my AFK stream. They're not doing anything naughty, but it's something I probably should take care of, so... yeah, we'll see what happens. By the way, saying that, let me see if I don't actually have the thing. I don't have the thing, do I? No, I don't. So, in lieu of that, let me do this. Yeah, I need to take care of this now, so excuse me for a moment while I take care of... Make sure that the animals are okay, but... Yeah, give me about Give me about 7 minutes just to make sure, because I'm probably gonna grab a drink too. Sorry, I didn't mean to use. I don't know. But yes, without further ado, let's just get back into it, because boy, I have made some things. I usually like to stick by the timer, unless my mic was still actually actively on in OBS, but hey, turns out dogs bark at people, specifically people that, human beings that they are not familiar with. Also, I never used the thingamajiggy, did I? So I guess we'll put the police patrols, I was about to say downtown, in the school. And yeah, dogs bark at people they're not familiar with, so yeah. They're gonna keep doing it, but that's, they do it less for, let's just say, neighbors. And yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, that's right, I'm Kana, so I can't die from this. What I can die from is possibly a big hit to the face from a boss, but for the moment, I think we'll be okay. I think I will take this. Yeah, I am still gonna do this because I think I need a better weapon than the meat cleaver, so let's hope we get something good. Not that any of these are, but this carpenter hammer is pretty fast though, so we'll take that instead, and then we'll monument once, because we're gonna monument once. But then away we go, because we can't spend too much doom here. 44% doom in the middle of our third mystery is not bad, but could certainly do better still, so away we go. Is this? No, it's not guaranteed. Flies closer, so here comes this. And I think I actually want to throw the meat cleaver here to save myself a turn. So, desperate prep strong, and away we go. I was gonna say something else and I completely forgot. One thing I will say though is I've been looking at a lot of sources for inspiration, let's just say, and they are very helpful. But boy, and no, this does not include AI. Some people think that, you know, I've been looking at a lot of AI because I tend to. It sounds like I'm defending it. And I am, as a, not principle, but what am I trying to say here? I died by stamina once, though, by the way. I defend AI as more a conceptual thing, because, let's be, well, I'm gonna say let's be real here, but really, oh my goodness, should I just run from this? I'm just gonna run from this. Now I'm in a lot of pain, but the fact that humanity is using AI is not entirely a new thing. You could argue it, you know, let's just say that it came around the 2000s. I'm pretty sure it's been earlier than that, but essentially what I'm trying to say is we have already been using AI. I'm just not thinking of the right examples right now because I'm trying to not die in World of Horror. But again, on concept, it's not a terrible thing, but that being like a lot of other things invented, the internet included, when you have not even bad actors, but people who use it improperly, and improperly can even include the use of it. How do I want to say this so that it makes the most sense coming across? So I can portray so I can explain this point further. Like, there are good uses of it. But I won't deny that it's outweighed by very poor uses of AI. Whether people have the best of intentions or not. Or their own intentions relative to their standing. Obviously, don't commit crimes. But, for example, I think the biggest example that I keep talking about so far is businesses, and specifically, you know, video game companies that want to save on time and resources. It's like, yeah, there might be there's definitely ethical problems, but it saves them money, so I can see why they choose to do that. By the way, thank you for the perception. I did need that. But in the meanwhile, like, so for example, another example is AI art. Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. It's just not great in general, because you do have to realize, for those who don't know, AI art is mostly using assets that are already in place. So if we keep using AI art, at a certain point, humanity is not going to innovate. But of course, that's usually the intent of at least a few people that I can observe. The intent of some individuals in the world is not to innovate on art, but simply to use it for their own purposes. Again, the example we come back to is maybe people are using it for a video game, bleh. And again, that's not even saying we're not doing anything new by doing, I think 70% Doom is a lot, by the way. And I forgot my train of thought. That's basically, I would, in general, AI art is looked down upon. I'm personally still more in the gray area, while I support some uses of AI art. As a rule, I would not do it myself, because if I believe that in that as a rule, I would be using AI art in my own games, which I don't. So yeah. But as we move on here, I think we actually, is this better for me? No. So we'll just go elsewhere. That's right. We have Knight Errant penalties, so we are taking extra Doom damage. But it's not like we can take much more damage here anyway, so we will fight this, but what's most likely going to happen is I'm going to lose 5 Doom regardless, because if this doesn't kill me, I'll just end up just as worse. But that being said, yeah, to kind of near closing the end of this another AI discussion that I've had, because I know I talk about it quite a lot on this channel, but you can't. I mean, if I didn't already say so, I did have a lot of, not experience, but I did at least take a lot of, let's just say, classes on computer programming and have some experience with AI. So yes, I guess you can say I'm a bit biased because someone who's used it. So, but at the same time, I understand I can understand the nuances that go into using AI in society as a whole. But hey, basically to shorten it up, well, yeah, again, if I truly believed in AI art as on principle, I would be using it in my video games, which I don't. And on a grander scale, and really a grander scale, I still would not. Let's just say if I had a child and they had to have a life-changing surgery, I wouldn't trust AI with it. Not at this current point in time. Maybe in 100 years past my lifespan, AI gets to the point where it can do things a lot better than a human can on average. And there are points in which it can, but I would still leave a lot of things, like even like building construction. I've seen the videos, but let's just say that they're doing okay. AI can do okay at building things, but just how human hands or the human mind can wander and make a mistake, the same can be true of, well, AI in general, where whoever is responsible for building the AI, whether it's, you know, how in AI performs its duty, whatever it may be, whether that's building construction, whether it's making a video game, whatever, or the way that they teach the AI how to learn, there are bound to be mistakes somewhere. And yes, a lot of it is caused by humans. So when we look at science fiction, at times it can be like, well, what if robots decide that humans are inefficient? Which I would not agree. I think funny enough, if an AI were to scan humanity as a whole, while they would find faults with humanity as a majority, I think I would put money, if I had to put money down, I would say that an AI that scans all of humanity, all the internet, might believe that humanity is still needed, basically. They wouldn't go out to destroy us like in the movies, although they might subtly attempt to do things. By the way, I'm gonna die here. I could have gone for ending A here. I was not thinking. Well, we got time skip anyway, so we would have died. So I guess we'll just enter the lighthouse when we get the key here, because we're dead no matter what. Yeah, I probably should not have taken Vigil first, but after that I did make some mistakes elsewhere. It wasn't just Vigil. Vigil was probably actually not even the biggest mistake I made in this run, but hey, things. But yeah, let's actually focus in on the stream a little bit more. But yeah, basically, if you're trying to persuade me one way or the other, for or against AI, you're gonna find it hard to kind of persuade me one or the other way, or in the extreme, basically. Is all scars, all perks, random item, Ayaka. I guess I won't deny that at least a little bit of the reason why I don't like Ayaka is because if you run all perks Ayaka, it's a lot worse, in my opinion, than all perks Aiko and Toshiaki, but, you know, light charisma, second, strength, and maybe a knowledge check. I was going to say every single stat check, but we don't have the dexterity check on the board here, so... Hey. But I will also admit, in that same breath, that if Toshiaki did not have his passive Doom decrease, then he would be worse on Ayaka on an all-perks run, in my opinion. But anywho, again, for when I look at the kind of the balance of a character on an all-perks run, I'm mainly looking at what the character has innate as a passive, because I don't treat the access to all perks as, you know, helping a character on all perk run, unless they have something that helps or hinders their progress in leveling up, like Juryu. That's why for Juri, all perks is looked upon differently as opposed to other characters that don't really have innate passives that, or something about them that helps them, that has to do with them grabbing perks, basically. Nails, Footage, Ramen, Recluse, and Household Hell. I guess we'll take Footage now. Yeah, and in the case of Ayaka here, she gets 2 curses per mystery. She gets to remove one, but as a whole, because curses have gotten more dangerous, and she doesn't have her perks on an all-perk run, then yeah, it's... I would say she does a lot worse. Also, I think her Doom costs are still 15%. So, yeah, I chalk more up into why I don't like Ayaka. Personally, that's not an objective statement. It is a very subjective perspective based on my experiences and opinion on the characters in the game. But, you know, other people's experiences are different. That's the only other thing I have to add to that. I can check the history club again, but I think I'm just gonna grab a weapon and hope that we don't die to double flashbacks. Because on an all perks run, you don't have access to Eldritch Possession. And there are no strength increasing perks aside from ones that do it indirectly as a whole, like, not Zeal. On your own, and I think maybe one more. But you're really kind of just hoping at that point, because all perks, you're rolling on all perks. That's all I can really say while I am finishing up my stuff. I really did not get a single weapon here. Oh my goodness. We'll grab the Army Knife. It's at least doing 5 damage. I think it's a little faster too. 2 speed. A 2 speed increase, to be exact, I think. We are on Scar, so we're also taking less damage, thankfully, but we're also on Azal, so stamina and reason are the least of my worries here. Can you please just come scare me, please? I know that's on me to do, but hey, I'm gonna take a drink really quickly. I nearly forgot what mystery we're in. We're in Footage. But we'll try calling the police and failing the fair charisma roll here as we move on. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to do my best. It's not even that I'm unfocused as well, as busy as I may be trying to get things done at least by the end of October, but probably around the end of October. Let's be serious at this point. I have to be serious at this point. Or I have to not admit it. I'm basically looking at the time I have left and what I have to do, and it's not looking good. So that's right, we're on Scars, so we aren't taking as much damage as I may seem, and in fact, I should trade some stamina for reason. It is... Oh, my why did I do that to myself? I think I could have gone out. Moving on. It can be possible for me to finish this without my stamina decreasing, basically. Anywho. Oh, so I think if I wasn't already mentioning why I went back on the topic of AI, I'm not coming back to it, but I kind of go going back to it because I've been looking at AI Dungeon, and I know AI Novel exists as well, but if we're, playing around with games, I went back to AI Dungeon. I've tinkered with it in the past, but I recently got back into, learning about it because I was told something about it, and so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll looking into it. And yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't think I'll put any money down. I may have already used my free trial as well. I have to go back and check if there's any fine print, but just going back into it and seeing. I can get rid of one of these, by the way. I should probably get rid of Branded. But anywho, is this forest really max threat level, by the way? Well, a bit late now. Roads closed, and yeah, that's not going to be good for any mysteries that deal with that. What are we doing with Nails, Ramen, Recluse, Hell? So we're doing Recluse into Nails. We already have roads closed, so it really doesn't matter what I do here. We're getting 1% for every curse. Thank you, game. I really much appreciate that. And by that, I mean I don't. I could have just gotten rid of Fungal Growth instead, but... hey, we might not actually survive this, depending, but we'll see. I think I do. As long as I have at least 5 reason, I believe. And this will save me on Doom, so... yeah, we're gonna find out. Now, I am slowly losing reason, but... with the help of this fleshy toy, or not fleshy toy, stuffed toy, it's not fleshy toy if I don't sacrifice it, we should be doing a bit better on curses because A's all things. But we'll find out, won't we? So, curse signs, holes, in Smasu look. I think we'll do holes here next. In Smasu look is pretty bad, but we'll deal. Doomed already will be the next great thing. I should actually take, not Charisma, Reason. But we'll see. Yeah, keeping in mind we're on Scar's Scar's backstory, so this will be a lot less painful. But we'll still be in pain because we're losing for Reason here. Unless I just guess the ritual. In that case, I only take 2 Reason, but I'm not going to do that. So instead, actually we 2-shot this enemy, really? Well, I'll take it. I won't complain about it, but moving on. 2 Doom because of 2 curses, I believe. There's another rule, but I completely forgot what it was, so I'll check it in a moment, but we'll do Nails because we need Nails. There's flashbacks, by the way, so Curse, Spell, and Ally. So I don't have any spells. I don't have any allies either. We definitely want to get rid of this. I could Doom this away. Yeah, I'm going to Doom this away and then get rid of Insmasuluk. And we'll only take about 2 damage and be okay. Or should be okay. I guess we'll find out. Did I really lose my last run? Yeah, I'm trying to think if I updated the scoreboard. The answer to that is probably no. So I might be interested in grabbing a pack of cigarettes as well if I have opened that up. I probably should, but we'll see. But yeah, I've been messing around with AI Dungeon. I see its kind of pros and cons as well. As to why we'll say certain players don't like AI Dungeon, and some others can enjoy it. For the most part, I think it does. It seemed to me, again, this is my opinion, it loses a lot of the general audience because it doesn't perform as well to the layman, to the average person, than it does to someone who can, 1, immerse themselves, or 2, really get into learning how to make it work for them. Even with the contextual limits. I think that's one of the biggest things that's tricky to catch on. Because if you're playing AI Dungeon for free, without spending any money, then you are limited, objectively. But it's not the worst kind of limitation. But, again, that requires the average person to really dig into how to get AI Dungeon to work. So for those who don't know what AI Dungeon is, AI Dungeon is basically a text-based type storytelling machine, but can function mostly as a game in terms of allowing the player to set up a goal, a story, but mainly a goal, and try to fulfill that goal while being an open-ended adventure, I guess. Whether it's a slice of life romance, or an actual just fantasy dive into a dungeon. It allows the player to basically have an open-ended adventure. Now, it is AI it is based on AI, so you're dealing with a kind of... You are dealing with AI, basically, and for those who don't know what that means, it means you're dealing with something that tries to generate something to the best of its ability, and for the most part, it does function somewhat well. But again, this is where I go into the topic of, so now, even for those who know AI Dungeon, we'll be kind of getting into the technical side of things, where there are ways to control, basically, how much sense AI Dungeon will make to the player. For example, you could be doing a fantasy dungeon adventure type game. I forgot to level up, by the way. That's my fault. I might even just want to run here. 65% Doom? No, we're not going to run. Yeah, you could end up... Say you're in a dungeon and you open a treasure chest and suddenly a fairy pops out that gives you a MacGuffin to defeat whatever. Maybe you set up a demon lord in your thing. Like, maybe that happens and you don't want that to happen, or something really ridiculous happens, like a trap flies out and you just die immediately. So I'm struggling in real life, as I say, things like that can happen. So it's certainly not perfect, but you do have controls. Again, for those who know AI Dungeon, there are technical controls to prevent things like that from happening. The problem, I think, that most people unconsciously run into, who, you know, can't stick with AI Dungeon for whatever reason, is that the amount of power you have to control, just numerically, to control things that happen in AI Dungeon is strictly limited, which also limits the very nature of what AI Dungeon is trying to be, which is an open-ended adventure. Because as open-ended as it can be, you don't want it to go completely off the rails, unless that's what you're looking for. But again, I assume when the average person goes into AI Dungeon, they actually still have a structured adventure in mind, which appeals more for those who are willing to kind of immerse themselves, or are writers and can just go in and you can go in and just edit the story. So basically you're doing things on your own. But again, people expect that something is being given to them rather than, you know, they're sitting there literally doing what a writer does and writing a story themselves. But, you know, specifically speaking, in AI Dungeon you have something called context. So what happens is, essentially, in the background, the AI Dungeon uses... there are several models of AI generation it does, but for the sake of this saying it, we'll just call it AI Dungeon is deciding what happens. And so while this is happening, or how this functions, is that AI Dungeon takes basically a set of rules or things to consider. And these things to consider are essentially what's called the context. Context specifically has a different... It means something different, but basically it is a limitation that's can be placed on those who haven't spent any money on a dungeon, and therefore there's only so many things that you can give to AI Dungeon to help control the narrative by that extension the game of AI Dungeon in terms of what can or cannot happen. Also, I just ate a bunch of Doom because I think we're sitting on... Is this the experience rule, by the way? No, the funds rule, and I'm holding on to a lot of funds, and I have a lot of curses, so all I did was really just defeat myself. Although my Doom being at 83% wouldn't have helped me much either, but we'll just keep moving on. I was talking about AI Dungeon, and that's why I admit I'm a bit less focused. But it's getting to ROM. Okay, well, we're dead anyway with the experience rule, but we'll humor the game and just go on for as long as possible. We did get on our own, by the way. But yeah, this is not great. So... But yeah, basically, AI Dungeon would still appeal to me because I can immerse myself in my own, basically, things of my making. And I do have experience, you know, just going in, writing things out, and being like, yeah, I'm fine with that. So, I'm also someone who doesn't mind too many zany things happening, although I do have my own limits as well. So, yeah, and if you want me to prove that, I'd be more than happy to play AI Dungeon someday, but not right now, as I get into Herald World of Horror character exclusive Mimi. Pretty standard run aside from Herald shenanigans, but even with that, Herald doesn't add that much more to the run. I think it adds more in terms of events than its actual effect, funny enough. Second mystery, light Takshi-san, charisma, knowledge, and maybe a dexterity check? We'll play with knowledge. So, if we were to get back onto the topic of World of Horror, oftentimes I do my runs just with the scalpel. I don't know if that's just a me thing, though. Although, to be fair, I do die a lot anyway, so maybe I am wrong when a lot of brainstorming around playing Mimi goes around getting a better knowledge weapon, which I don't deny there are better. The weapons that are knowledge-based, scalpel is not among the top tier of them, but You're given it at the very beginning. So basically how I treat it is that I just equip the Scalpel immediately and use the Doom that it gives me for other purposes. But Metamorphosis, Botanist, Festival, Ward, and Flood. So we do have Ward, we also have Flood and Metamorphosis, and funny enough, I have to take Metamorphosis immediately if I want to do Metamorphosis, Ward, and Flood, and get the Hospital Pass. So fun times ahead. And we'll grab this Hospital Pass and move on. Who do we have as an ally? Reiko. Yeah, that's not going to be too helpful, so away we go. Yeah. Basically, yeah, looking at a lot of games, looking at a lot of light novels as well, because I'm getting ideas specifically from the fantasy genre, because hey, as it turns out, I also enjoy the fantasy and by extension the isekai genre a lot. Now, I've done so much, I wouldn't call myself a connoisseur, but I do have certain tastes in terms of, well, if nothing else, minimal standards for me to enjoy a fantasy or isekai, but for the most part, if you always add in elves, dwarves, dragons, and whatnot, you're fine with demon lords, you're fine with me. Now, how you know delivery of said story is something different, but yeah. I think I've already gotten, so just to kind of smooth over it, this is for people who don't know, but yeah, I've had some issues with Mushoku Tensei, and that doesn't even include the side stories that happen after the end of the main story. Again, just for those who don't know, I did read the whole thing in when it was available in Japanese somewhere. I swear it was free, but yeah, I enjoyed it, but I didn't. I guess to be more specific, I didn't like the way it ended. Something about it didn't fit right with me. I don't know if I should feel vilicide. I don't know what the word is, but I don't know. If I should feel how should I say it? Validified by the fact that Mushoku Tensei I didn't need, but it came out with side stories afterward. So in one way I could go, well, it needed side stories to kind of complete itself out, but at the same time, it was certainly a whole story, and it certainly does. I will still put it on the 30th percentile of stories in general that I enjoyed, but I do have my unlike probably the other 50% below it, I feel less fulfilled despite it being a whole, if that makes any sense. And yeah, that's kind of hard to explain without going into spoilers, but yeah. That being said, on a random note, as I consider, I think I should just punch here, or kick, sorry. Is there anything else? No, we're on a World of Horror, I almost said Cthulhu, Herald run. So I should be able to just do this and Desperate Struggle, prep strong next turn. Yeah, and then on a random note, hey, if you didn't know, Intergalactic Lord, if you know what that light novel is, it's available in its raw Japanese for free online by the very author on the site that they publish to, which happens to be a very popular Japanese site for starting or writing your web novels. In fact, a lot of them are on there for free by the very authors. Which makes me kind of sad, at least for Intergalactic Lord, because apparently the author for Intergalactic Lord basically comes out with every arc, and by arc I mean we can call them volumes, if we're kind of translating it to real-life form. They do a volume every 6 months, which, yeah, I mean, but if it allows them to make a more cohesive story, or basically a better story, then I'm fine with it. We can say the same for, I think, the one about Orc Berserk, I guess, is the fun fan name given to it. Now, if the creator of that light novel does not appreciate that, I'll stop. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, essentially, you have Guts from Berserk as an orc. That's not saying that it's a crossover, but literally the main character of the light novel I'm talking about is an orc that is essentially it has the characteristics of an orc. But they're a lot more closer, again, this is the fan-given definition, to Guts from Berserk. And yeah, just imagine that. It's also, I think it's strict fan. I don't think there's any isekai aspect of it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But it's a misunderstood orc basically looking for a partner in life and being misunderstood. It's definitely in the misunderstanding corner. But hey. I'm trying to decide if I actually want to fight this. I can if I decide to throw this bottle of water. Because I basically really want the experience. And I've kind of sunk cost fallacy. I've already taken damage, so... yeah, we're throwing the empty bottle. I would like that curious package, because I'm probably going to fight this as well. Because I have the handcuffs. But we'll see. But yeah, basically getting into, you know... whenever I'm stuck, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll either jump on a video game that I have for about an hour. Or what's actually kind of worse for me is binge a light novel, which I can't really afford to do right now. So, yeah. Again, I do try to take inspiration from places, but at the same time, as I die to stamina here due to rolling a 12 on my charisma check, I do my best. Do I want to try again? I'm going to try one more run. Can I at least put myself in a scoreboard? That would be nice. Also, that would prevent me from just doing another 45-minute stream, but hey. Let's just get into the next run, which will be Zictast again. Exquisite Taste, character exclusive Aiko. But we're Aiko, though, so hey, Aiko. Light, Strength, Charisma, Takshisan, second in Mystery, and maybe Knowledge check. Although I will admit, even if I got Aiko for every single run for this Nuzlocke challenge, I probably would lose at some point. If not to RNG, let's be serious here, then to poor decision making. But, you know, anything can happen, right? So for the purposes of being Aiko, let's just do this. We cancel these library notes if the game lets me. Invisibility would also be nice. But let's find out, shall we? So I think, yeah, it's just reason cost for invisibility, I believe. Let me just check really quickly. Depends on what mysteries I have. Basically, if I get Vigil, I'm casting invisibility. You can't stop me. You actually can't stop me. I mean, you could if you just came to me in real life, punched me in the face, and, you know, it's over. But not that I... Dude, I was saying that as a joke. But Flood, Eels, Festival, Mermaids, Sailors. And away we go. So yeah, let's do this and move on. Now, for all intents and purposes, I should just get a weapon while I have the funds. I guess we'll grab a curse too. Yeah, I mean, even with Mimi stats, we'll be okay. I mean, we play Mimi, and this is not as bad as Mimi, so I would like the army knife. I'm gonna cut my losses and just buy the meat cleaver, though, and away we go. Keep in mind we are on Zictast, but hey. We'll do our best. This is, I think, out of all the runs I've done this stream, though, or even in the past 2 streams, including this one, I think this is the run where I've had the most chance of success, just because I'm Aiko. Like, I can't stress enough how much Aiko does. And I don't even have the plush toy, but I have Kana with me, so you know what? All things considered, I think you'd still take rest. I think the flexibility of rest as I roll a 12 on luck is still more important. Well, just as important. I'm not gonna say. Never mind. I'll let me retract my statement. Both can be good. Aiko's plush toy just removes 1 damage from being taken. Stack that on top of Kana, and yeah, it's hard to really die through battle, but we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. Even though that's not how I'm dying most of the time anyway, I'm dying most of the time due to events. Like, I literally just died to rolling a 12, I believe. But I don't have DVR, so I can't confirm that. Yeah, I know, dog. RNG's pretty bad. Oh, I know why. Because, as I look outside, there is another dog wandering around our place of residence. So, hey. That's all I can really say. Anywho. Yeah, so there's another dog. So that's a different... Again, and this is... even though I'm not much of a dog or cat person myself, or I wasn't, I have now learned to kind of... Or not kind of. I have learned to really identify what kind of barking my dogs do, basically. That's all I'm really trying to say. Same thing for that bird you hear in the background, if you can hear it. But yeah, it's It's because there's a dog that is unfamiliar with our dogs in the area. So yay. I mean, not much is happening on screen. I might as well just talk about dogs and stuff, right? Because we're just gonna grab the theologist and go. I mean, I could go for an extra point of damage. That would be interesting, but also, you know what also isn't as interesting? Me taking damage here, but I don't want to run, so guess it's time to roll the dice and be Aiko. And by be Aiko, I mean be me. Because knowing me, I'm just gonna miss every single one of these. And we're just gonna end up doing prep attack, prep strong anyway. Okay, we didn't miss all of them, but it's not like it really mattered anyway. Let's see if this carries over. I'm just curious. But anywho, we do need to rest. We have a lot of Doom still. That's the good thing. And this is even... Let's assume we're at 9% Doom, because I'm gonna get time skip. Yeah. We'll do what I can. I'll do what I can. We'll do. Not we, because you don't have any control over what I'm doing here. Unless you... I mean, you can. But during the Nuzlocke challenge, I don't often like to take advice. Because I consider it kind of cheating. Why did I just escape? Okay, now I'm in trouble. Because I was supposed to rest and I didn't rest. I am going crazy. We'll roll the dice here, but I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. Now I have to forget invincibility. We're also a lot worse off than we were before. But can I do this until the end? I think I can. I can definitely get close. Not that it matters too much anyway, but if I'm going to do that, actually, I might as well just do this. We don't need the stamina. That's all I really have to say for myself. Although I should have rested here. This is not normal anymore, but... Boy, I'm going crazy. We didn't need to trade off force. Well, we didn't need to. I could be dodging instead here, all things considered. But I don't think that's the smartest option I have. Also, I can't appease the dogs, because right now they're probably thinking, hey, something unfamiliar was around us. And they're like, why isn't Jordan coming out? And it's like, well, the dogs don't understand that I'm streaming. Anywho. I mean, I'm Aiko, so I can still do anything I want. Yeah, we do Festival into Mermaids into Sailors. Yeah, that's the plan here. So, really, I mean, I was going to be as hurt as I was, but let's not downplay the mistake I did. I could have done another thing. I guess I should. I really should not calm them down, but I should let them know that they're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. Give me 15 seconds. Yeah, I know dogs. I know there's another dog. I know. Hi, dog. Hi. And back I come. Oh. Okay. Appease dogs. But yeah, we'll confront this person and hey, I want a luck check. Hey, maybe being nice to animals. Maybe karma does exist in real life. Although that's an interesting piece of, I wouldn't even say science, but I also have frostbite. That's right. But I think that's something interesting that I've basically seen something on. So if you don't know what I mean, also we have 12% Doom on my third mystery. That's due to Flood and the thing, but what was I trying to say? And having Kana. But let me see here. Okay, so I just hit 365%. Happy day. I'm not going to take any risks. Let's just do prep strong twice and get out. But what I'm trying to say is, so there is something about karma, the idea of karma in real life, or as human beings understand it. And basically, I think someone was trying to explain it scientifically, which sounds absolutely ridiculous, but at least let me try to explain what I was looking into. Where basically by performing good acts in life, there's basically some scientific mojo. Let's just call it magic, because at this point it's just called magic. But karma as a, and we actually do want this because we don't have Aiko's plush toy, so we might as well grab the spiral hood. Aiko can do this. Oh my goodness. Anywho, yeah. So basically, doing good deeds in life. Basically, let's call it like mojo. It influences the mojo that comes to you. So if you do good things are more likely to happen. And if you do bad things are more likely to happen to you. Now, that's not to say that everyone experiences this. Otherwise, you know, I personally think the world would be in a better place if this karma mojo existed. But I found it interesting to look at because You know, the thought of that isn't... Obviously, it's appealing, just as as most human beings would, I guess, hope to be the case, but... someone trying to explain it scientifically, I tend to like that, even if I don't believe. In this case, I don't believe, but it's interesting to see people tackle... how should I call it? Basically, fantasy with science. So, in a scientific way, with at least scientific methods, but yeah, looking to the science of how things work, and trying to figure out if there's a science between things that seem like they make no sense at all. Like, basically, fantasy things in real life. Which, to be fair, I've talked about this before at some length, or kind of at least have touched upon it tangentially. But the idea of basically science as we know it is essentially just magic. Like, if we went to a fantasy world, I think the most base example you can think of is that we have cell phones. We're on a Zictass run, really? I didn't even notice. Anywho, if you introduce the concept of cell phones to a fantasy world, that would sound ridiculous, although they probably have, in a fantasy world, you can communicate with magic, but that's what I mean by essentially we're magical as well, in the idea that the invention of cell phones, the internet, was made, and we can kind of just sit across the world while being able to communicate with loved ones from the other side of the world. And that's all I really have to say. That's the magic of science, I guess. But anywho, so I do have Frostbite as well. I might as well do this. We get 2 hasty aids, and oh my goodness, I really hope nothing terrible happens. In fact, I want out of funds to come. But for the moment, we'll be okay. This would help me get funds as well, but we also have Doom to spend, so failing that wouldn't have hurt me. Anywho, moving on. We have Dexterity. I was about to say, if I didn't pass that, I was going to be very sad. We are on Sailors, by the way, so I actually do need to throw 2 things away. We can also try... Never mind, I burned down the school. In-game. So... I mean, we can throw a Spell Hood. We can also throw the Meat Cleaver, funny enough. We'll see if I need to, because we could take a book from here. We could also get the Funny Mask, which will be useful in healing if need be, but we'll wait till the end of the mystery. And yeah, if I do survive this run, this is less in part to me, but more because of Aiko. Yeah, that being said, you still have to know how to play the characters, but hey. We'll move on, and we should be relatively okay. So here's the thing, here is the Doom, or Reason Hit, and we're going to throw away the handcuffs, and we're going to throw away the Funny Mask, funny enough. And we get the... In fact, I could have thrown the Meat Cleaver because we get the Torch. That's a minor little optimization error. But let's not fight the boss, because that will make the run a lot harder. In fact, I could just end up dying. I could have just ended up dying. But in the meanwhile, we'll be perfectly okay, so I can even just heal stamina here, and we can not worry about things anymore. Got Fast Swimmer at the end, but you know what? Better late than never, even though it probably won't help me at all. The game doesn't want me to level up, and away we go. I don't have to look at a single thing. I'm pretty sure I don't have to look at a single thing on the lighthouse. You shouldn't do this, but that's how confident I feel. Which has failed me before, but not often. So, as we actually finally complete a run, and this happens to be another Zictass run, we should be perfectly fine. In fact, and then throw everything. And then throw the torch, too. Hey, we can do anything we want. We're Aiko. Actually, if I miss every single attack here for 5 turns, I could actually die, but, it's a thing. So what did I do second, though? I actually, Flood, I think. And hey, that's the test run. So yeah, without further ado, I said I wanted to work on actual Frostpunk 2 videos. I did not get that much of that done. But at the same time, it might be difficult for me because, yeah, I'm still working on my own things. If they don't come out, or if one of them doesn't come out during Halloween, I'll take what I can get. I still want to release something in at least by the end of this year. So, even if it's not the biggest game, hey. But yeah, if I don't want to take up too much more of your time, let me show you the scoreboard. I thought I showed you the scoreboard. I don't think I did. But it's not really, there's not really much on it, because we have a score of 1, and that's about it. So, if the game will let me do a thing. Oh my goodness, really? What is going on here? Oh, geez. Wait, what? Oh, because of that. Alright, so yeah, you should see the scoreboard on screen. You should also see a number appearing, because I did not do OBS things. But yeah, we only have a score of 1. And not really much else happening this week. If I do Frostpunk 2, I'll definitely need a complete Harbinger Horror as a dog barks in the background, so I should probably end the stream soon. But yeah, if nothing else though, you know where to contact me if you need to contact me. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you for watching. Anyone watching now or in the future, if this becomes a VOD, when it becomes a VOD. And yeah, sorry I didn't go. I usually do want to go on for longer, but have a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, I guess I'll just see you later. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. Bye. You know what to do if you want to reach me. I'm on Discord and everything. Oh, Jordan, you're gonna end the stream. Please don't.